Spring practice started yesterday. The buzz on Bryce Underwood's going crazy already. Made a throw that would make Patrick Mahomes blush, right? Maybe, in helmets only, but nevertheless, the hype is already starting. Bryce Underwood. So let me ask you guys this question. The last three Michigan football quarterbacks, starting quarterbacks, Cade McNamara, JJ McCarthy, and Davis Warren, at least the guys that start against Ohio State, have beat Ohio State again. Will Bryce Underwood beat Ohio State? So over the next 3 years, 4 years, hell, maybe 5, never know. Will Michigan beat Ohio State with Bryce Underwood as its starting quarterback? Simply give me a yes or no down in the comments. I want to know how you guys are feeling as we go into the hopefully Bryce Underwood era of Michigan football, day 2 of spring practice. Let's get into some questions that I've got from you guys. As intel's going to trickle out in spring practice, and we'll get you what we have when we have it. Follow me on Twitter at James Yoder. No big deal. How about this question from Sam I Am? What would Bryce Underwood have to do to have a better career than JJ? Woo! That is a good one, as we're going to take questions on Sherrone Moore's second Wolverines team, spring practice, and we've got 1 month to get some intel on the field and the practice field before the spring game on April 18th, Saturday, April 8th, 18th, noon at the Big House, which I think will be televised on either Big Ten Network or Fox. I'm not sure. I don't think they've officially announced that yet. But it's an interesting one to ponder because JJ McCarthy was a 2-year starter, the best winning percentage record, 27-1 of any starting quarterback in modern college football last 60 years history. So I've kind of broke it down to we can do it as a team, we can do it individual, but one of these two things has to happen for it to occur. I think for Bryce Underwood to be considered a better quarterback by Michigan fans, I think JJ McCarthy right now is the best quarterback in Michigan football history. He would either have to do the first one, right? Either win a Heisman and be the number 1 overall pick. So be even accolades guy. If you win a Heisman at Michigan as a quarterback, I think you're going to have to be considered the best quarterback of all time, I think at least. And it's certainly the number 1 pick that would, I think, cement that as have a better career than JJ McCarthy. Or JJ made it to the playoff 3 times, 2 as a starter, should have made it to 2 national championship games, but lost to TCU in an absolute brutal game in the 2022 season. So I think Bryce would have to one-up him there. He'd have to at least match him as a national championship quarterback, and then take it a step further, at least make a second national championship game, something JJ didn't do. And that's how high the bar is, right? To be considered better than JJ at this point, I think he's going to have to win a Heisman and be a number 1 pick, or take Michigan to 2 national championship games. And that's what Michigan's expectation should be. I remember listening to The Enemy, an Ohio State podcast, when they got the commit from Quinn Ewers, and he was going to enroll early, and they were saying, look, this is the consensus number 1 recruit. If you're lucky, you get one of these guys every 10 years of any college, Alabama, Texas, Michigan, Ohio State, Notre Dame. If you're lucky, you get the best quarterback in the country once every 10 years. You have got to be thinking, you've got to be optimizing. We have got to optimize to win 2 national titles, right? 2 national titles. Now, clearly, they didn't do that. Quinn Ewers went on and when he became a quarterback at Texas, took them to the playoff 2 times, but Ohio State won that national title within his window. But nevertheless, I was like, wow, that's actually pretty interesting. And so I don't think Michigan should shy away from those expectations. If you get a player like Bryce Underwood, right? People are comparing him to, Vince Young. I've seen people, maybe a skinnier version of Cam Newton. We'll see how he actually plays on the field, but you can't just settle and say, hey, going 1-2 against Ohio State, 1 Big Ten title and a couple playoff appearances where you lose in the semifinals is enough to be satisfied. So big expectations for Bryce Underwood, and certainly to be considered better than JJ McCarthy, he has to do some great things. So let me know. More of an open-ended question, right? But let me know. Get dirty with the words there, right? Get in there. Give me a couple paragraphs if you want to. What would Bryce Underwood have to do what do you have to accomplish to be considered to have a better college football career at the quarterback position than JJ McCarthy? I want to know from you guys. Let me know down in the comments. Let's take this question from tatted_queen120 on the Instagram. You guys follow us there at Michigan Football Report. Link down in the comments, description. Why does college football suck now that everybody is paying? Well, I'm going to answer that question in just a second because it took me some time. I sat down at the kitchen table yesterday. I thought to myself, why does college football suck? I don't have time to cook right now. So you know what I turn to? Factor Meals.
Before we continue on in this Michigan Football Report, don't worry. James will be back, but here's producer Jack. I want to tell you guys about the sponsor of today's video, and that is Factor. These Factor has chef-made gourmet meals that make eating well easy. They're dietitian approved and ready to heat and eat in 2 minutes. so you can fuel right and feel great no matter what life throws at you. Factor arrives fresh and fully prepared, perfect for any active, busy lifestyle. With 40 options across 8 dietary preferences on the menu each week, it's easy to pick meals tailored to your goals. Choose from preferences like Calorie Smart, Protein Plus, or Keto. Factor can help you feel your best all day long with wholesome smoothies, breakfasts, grab-and-go snacks, and add-ons. I'm going to tell you what, guys, I absolutely love Factor. We work long hours here at Chat Sports, and being able to heat and eat in 2 minutes, I know James loves Factor, and that's why I love Factor as well. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code FACTORPODCAST to get $50 off your first box plus free shipping. That's code FACTORPODCAST at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. Now, let's get back to the Michigan Football Report.
College football. Every week now, it's like, oh, they're going to expand. Oh, Florida State College and Clemson are leaving the ACC. No, they're back in the ACC. No, Stanford's in the ACC, but they're on the Pacific Ocean. I don't know how it's working out. This new era transfer portal, right? NIL, ever-expanding playoffs. I think it's a realistic question to say, is college football's value to fans, where every game mattered, where rivalry games mattered, where winning a conference meant something, where winning a bowl game meant something, where taking your licks as a backup and sticking around to be a star in your 4th and 5th year. Hello, Tom Brady. It's not there anymore. It doesn't exist anymore. And a lot of guys, some people may even say Bryce Underwood, are there just for the paycheck. I have long said this. And I think anyone who knows business understands camaraderie and just the entire life cycle of people's existence as fans. I will say this: if Michigan changed their name to the Ann Arbor Wolverines, if Ohio State had to change their name to the Columbus Buckeyes, attendance, caring about the team, TV ratings, they would drop by 95%. It's the affinity to the state, it's the affinity to the school that makes college football special. I think this new era, Tony Petitti, the SC commissioner, they better get it right, because the first year of the playoffs stunk. I think it's watered down, and I am not the only one. We talked to Will Johnson at the NFL Combine. He had something similar to say. Here's Will.
I would say, go back to 4. I think it's a little watered down now, but that's it.
Yeah, exactly. Watered down. I mean, you finish 4th in your conference. You lose to your rival, right? You lose to one of the other best teams in the Big Ten in Oregon, and you still make the playoffs. I mean, I guess it's okay. We'll see. Maybe I'll be eating these words in a few years if Michigan does the same. But if you're the 8th place team and you're the 4th team in your conference, they used to call that your Citrus Bowl representative with 2 losses. Now it's, hey, we're going to have a fairly easy path. Weak Tennessee team. Who else they play? Texas, obviously, at the end. Who's the game after Tennessee? Oh, Oregon. I mean, it was an okay route, but Michigan would have crushed all 4 of those teams. You can't convince me, had Michigan been put in the college football playoff the way they were playing at the end of the year, even with no passing game, they couldn't have potentially won the national championship. 2 went back-to-back. It's only because of the haters in the media that they didn't make the playoffs, as far as I am concerned. Will Michigan beat those Buckeyes in 2025? If you think yes, subscribe to the channel. If you've already subscribed, go comment yes. But either way, you can do both if you want to. But give me some subscriptions if you think beat Ohio State again. Put the vibes out, because you're a Michigan fan. If you see this and you didn't subscribe, you're going to pay. Let me tell you that. Michigan's going to lose to Ohio State because of you. If you don't think they're going to do that, give this video a thumbs down. Just thumbs down the video, or comment sad down below. Let me know what you guys are thinking. Michigan, Ohio State in 2025. Also from the Instagram account, Jacob's Insta. Thoughts of the quarterback battle with Ohio State and Michigan. Kind of a confusing question. I think he means just talk about both QB battles. So that's what we will do here. For Michigan, it's clearly between Bryce Underwood and Mikey Keene. I'm glad Davis Warren stuck around for his 5th season, because he's proven that he can win games, beat Ohio State on the road, right? You're going to look at this list in a few decades and be like, wait, what? It's like, hey, Jeopardy question. In the first 25 years of the 21st century, 3 Michigan quarterbacks went in and won at Ohio Stadium. Drew Henson, JJ McCarthy. Who was the third? Oh, who could it be? Yeah, well, that was Davis Warren, but he's not going to be the starting quarterback this year. And if he is, it's something's gone very, very wrong. For all realistic purpose, in 2024, Michigan went through 4 quarterbacks, right? Because Davis Warren ultimately was the starting quarterback at the end of the year, but it wasn't because he re-won the job, right? He won the job, got demoted, right? Alex Orji got demoted. What's his name? Jack Tuttle, right? Injured, and then he had to go back to Davis Warren. So in theory, Warren was like your first string, and then your 4th string quarterback. Michigan, if they do that this year, it's going to be bad. There's no Kalel Mullings in this roster. There's no Mason Graham. There's no Colston Loveland. There's no Will Johnson. You have got to have better quarterback play. And I believe that what we will see is that Bryce Underwood he's getting all the he's everything, right? He's big, he's muscular, he's fast, he's raw, he's exciting. But you're gonna say, whoa, he threw 3 interceptions in their first padded practice, or he isn't necessarily. But he's playing like a high school player, which he still should be, right? He should be a senior year of high school, should be getting ready for spring break, should be getting ready for prom. So don't expect this not to come with any bruises or any woes. But if he is not your starter by game 4, 5, or 6 this year, I think we need to pump the brakes. Mikey Keene probably is an 8-4 quarterback for this team next year. If you want to get to 10-2, 11-1, college football playoff, beat Ohio State again, Bryce Underwood has got to have a comeuppance. I think he's one of the most experienced quarterbacks Michigan's ever going to have, coming in as a true freshman, 4 years as a starter, state title as a true freshman, et cetera, in high school, and then coming in, going through bowl practices, going through spring practices. He is almost going to be like a sophomore by the time the season gets around, and Michigan should be expecting everything out of him that I think they got from JJ McCarthy at the end of 2021 and into 2022 as a starter. How about Ohio State? They've got really 3 players that could vie for the job. Now, Lincoln Keenholz, if he is the guy, this is a 6-6 team this year because he stinks, and we saw that in the bowl game at the end of the 2023 season. He couldn't throw the ball with anything, and he's more worried about doing his TikToks with his girlfriend, I think, than playing football. Julian Sand was a top 10 player in the 2024 class. After Nick Saban retired, he took the job he decided to kind of transfer before even really being on campus, ever really even went to practice at Alabama, which is going to be funny, Jack, because last year they kept saying, Caleb Downs, the Alabama transfer. Ohio State fans got really pissed off about it. How funny is it going to be when Gus Johnson on a big noon game, like 3rd game of the season, if Julian Sain's the starting quarterback, says, Julian Salen under center with the touchdown pass, the Alabama transfer. They'd be like, he was at games for 6 fucking days. That's what Ohio State fans are going to do. That's fine. Tavion St. Clair. Bryce Underwood was the number 1 quarterback in 2025. Who was the number 2 quarterback? And that is St. Clair. So not predicting this is going to happen because Ryan Day has shown he does not. It's clear he's never started a true freshman. He started a few sophomores, C.J. Stroud, obviously. What's his name, Justin Fields, but never started a true freshman. But it would be pretty cool if St. Clair won the job and Bryce Underwood did, that these 3 guys could kind of Ohio guy, Michigan guy, right? Michigan guy's on top, both in the rankings and, the state is north of it. And number 1 player in the class, number 2 player in the class, 5-star quarterback, 5-star quarterback, hometown team, true freshman starter, sophomore starter, junior starter. Hell, just like if you think about it, Justin Fields and what's the kid's name? Trevor Lawrence, right? Both from the state of Georgia. Now, one went to Georgia, one went to Clemson, but their careers kind of, shape each other. Fields went to Ohio State as sophomores and juniors. They played in the college football playoff against each other. Ohio State, Clemson, back-to-back years. One each got a win. And then we're both drafted in the top first pick, obviously Lawrence, and then I think Fields is like pick 11 or 12 in that same draft. It would be pretty cool, Ohio State, Michigan, if St. Clair and Underwood had that happen. I ultimately think it's going to be Julian Sayin, given he's been in the program for a year, and St. Clair is a true freshman, not going to fall in that. So we will see. But maybe that St. Clair and Underwood thing doesn't come to fruition until they are juniors, after Sayin, as a redshirt freshman, moves on to potentially greener pastures for him. Instagram question, another one from, who was that? I'm Key TV. Besides Underwood, which freshman on offense and defensive side could start play? I just got to look at what guys seem most ready, what guys had the highest recruiting rankings and are at a position of need. And for me, it's pretty simple. I don't think you could have any other guys in this. Maybe Andrew Marsh, the wide receiver, but impact freshman, I believe that Andrew Babalola and Shamari Earls will both be playing. I think Babalola, by midseason, he is a starter, maybe even at left tackle, maybe even earlier than midseason. And then Shamari Earls will be making an impact, kind of like Will Johnson in 2022. By game 6, I think you could see see Earls, if not starting, in there getting as many snaps as the starter at cornerback. So those are the 2 ones for me. It's pretty easy. I'm not sure if there's even 2 other options, maybe outside of the wide receiver, Andrew Marsh. Comment now below. Let me know what you guys think. Besides Bryce Underwood, don't comment Bryce Underwood. Don't comment Bryce Underwood. Besides him, which freshman could start? Maybe 1 game, maybe 10 games, maybe 12. Which freshman could start that you think has the best chance to start for this Michigan football team? We're going to be back with another video, maybe tomorrow, maybe the next day. We'll be back with another video this week. Till I see you guys then, go Blue.